Mississippi.
Welcome to the Melodies and Memories podcast with Jillian and Aaron Schreiber, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. Each week, they connect melodies and memories with fans and singer-songwriters from all genres of life. When all else in life is gone, music will be left to leave the legacy of life's adventures. Please welcome your hosts of the Melodies and Memories podcast, Jillian and Aaron Schreiber.
Yeah, unmute me first and then I can talk. What's up, everybody? We're excited for tonight's show. We're going to check out the audio, make sure everything sounds good on our end before we get rolling.
It sounds good on our end.
Yeah.
Other than our super loud one-liner. Sorry about that, everybody listening.
The one-liner was loud. Yeah. No, my ears were open down tonight.
I don't know, man. It I don't know. I was like, what the heck?
Sounds good on your end?
We're good.
All right. Rock and roll.
Hello and welcome everyone to season 7 of the Melodies and Memories podcast. I'm your co-host, Jillian Schreiber.
I'm your host, Aaron Schreiber.
And our mission tonight is to provide a platform for motivated singer-songwriters, passionate fans, or someone who's making a difference in and around the music community. We hope everyone listening leaves inspired with a positive outlook and begins connecting their own melodies to memories. Tonight, we're presented by our good friends at Arlo Revolution, cinematic wedding films, music videos, and promos. Find them at arlorevolution.com. One tree planted. For every 1,000 downloads of the show, we plant a tree with one tree planted. Download the show on your favorite podcast app. And pod decks. Pod decks are the hottest tool to get your next great interview questions. Unique interview questions in the palm of your hand. Our on-screen sponsors are Art on a Higher Wire by Joelle, original and custom artwork inspired by your life moments, treasured photos, and memories. If you're looking for ways to support or sponsor Melodies and Memories music media, then head on over to our Patreon page. Tiers start at just $1 a month. The next best way to show support for the show is to like, share, review, and subscribe. Remember, you can join us live every Monday night at 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube, where you can interact with the show, ask questions, and join in on the live chat with your favorite guests. Visit our website, melodiesandmemories.com, for music news, concert reviews, and photos, playlists, and more.
All right. I'm excited for tonight's show. It's been a long time coming. I know we booked this a few months back, and because we're local to Chicago, so our guest tonight kind of has a little special place in Chicago's heart, and always has and always will be. But tonight we welcome in Zach Miller for episode 156. Zach has been grinding and chasing dreams since he was young. Those dreams led him to the NFL, but after a tragic incident, he picked up the pen and paper, strummed a few chords, and the rest is history. Tonight we are honored to discuss the melodies and memories that make up his journey. We're going to bring on Zach. I just noticed my camera's all tilted down tonight. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Man, we're excited to have you on, dude.
We're just excited that you can hear us and we can hear you.
Yeah, we're good.
We're off to a good start.
So we are.
I appreciate you having me.
Dude, like I said, we're local to Chicago, and we've been following your journey now for a while, and it's been amazing just to see where it's led to now. And we got to see you open.
Chapter.
Yeah, we got to see you open. I think it was David Nail at Joe's, and just to see you at Joe's, man, and see that crowd react to you was just amazing. I remember looking at Jillian, I'm like, we gotta get him on the podcast. I'm telling you, I just gotta hear his story.
Yeah.
So, it was a great show.
Yeah, it was amazing, dude. So we like to throw it back and like always start the show every week the same way, and just kind of get your story of what led you to music, man. What got you to music? Maybe what was your parents were kind of playing when you're growing up?
Music had always just been prevalent in my house, and I think as I grew up, obviously being in sports, like that crossover is huge. But early on, I was drawn to it. My mom and dad are big music people, so it was just one of those things that was always readily available and on in my house.
What kind of genre were your parents listening to kind of when you're growing up? Did they have favorites that you can remember?
Yeah, there's some classic rock. They're lovers of classic rock. So, Bruce Springsteen, CCR is probably one of my favorite bands. Billy Falcon was an album that was played a lot over and over again. John Cougar, the Eagles. I mean, the list goes on and on.
That's amazing, dude. That's awesome. Dude, so you're from Nebraska, and out there, music is kind of. I mean, what was kind of locally just growing up? Did you have kind of anybody you listened to, or anybody you kind of rebelled against your parents and kind of grew into?
I was a little. I will say my music endeavors as a young kid were a little bit off the wall for where I was growing up at. for some reason I became just fixated with West Coast rap. And Tupac was my favorite rapper. And I'm pretty sure that was the first CD. The Machiavelli CD was the first one I'd ever bought, the 7 Day Theory. And I don't know how, I had 2 older sisters, so I'm sure that's how it got trickled down to me. But I was the little kid in the country listening to the West Coast gangster rap.
I was born in '82, man, so I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Tupac and all that, man. Growing up in that '90s genre was just amazing, and that's what's cool to see now. To kind of see where kind of everybody that was listening to that kind of music, where they're going to, like singer songwriters and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first concert? We always like everybody asking what your first concert experience was like. Like,
I do. It was actually I was older. I was in college before I went to my first concert, and it was Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. And that is after obviously classic rock was what I was listening to because of my mom and dad, and then my sisters kind of got me into this West Coast rap, and then I started dating this girl that I liked, and she's a country girl. She grew up on a farm, and so the country music kind of started to infiltrate that way. And, I wanted to listen to what she wanted to listen to so she would like me. And that was the first concert we ended up going to was Tim McGraw and Faith Hill.
I love that, man. That's why that was probably what Soul
That's
of Soul.
great first
I think
concert.
the Soul of Soul tour or something back then.
Maybe.
That was awesome, dude. But yeah, and see, that's kind of what leads to your music. Like I was talking today, is all genres, dude. Like you listen to stuff that you're putting out now, like it doesn't really fit one genre. It could be country, but you have a little bit of pop to it too, a little bit of rock, a little soul to it. I love it, man, dude. So that's why we like to find out the roots, where it comes from, because it really leads to what you kind of grown into. But music was
like there's
I
was saying like that. As I started this whole thing, it was so new for me, right? Like I never really planned on jumping into country music or picking a genre. I was a huge singer-songwriter guy. Like I loved, like Dermot Kennedy's probably one of my favorite artists of all time. Just the way that he writes and paints pictures and does all that stuff. And I was like, if I could ever do anything, I would follow his footsteps because he's so good at what he does. And I love his sound. But then when I started writing songs, I was like, man, it sounds like I grew up in Nebraska. And those are the stories that just came out. So sonically, I don't know how to blend those things. It's just what's coming out, and I'm trying to, stay true to who I am and what I like to sound like. But it's a growing process for me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
When did you really start writing? Did you before you really started songwriting? Did you write poetry or any journals or anything like that?
No, I kept a journal during training camp and stuff when I got to the NFL, and would just kind of keep like a day-to-day. I thought it would be cool to maybe look back, down the road and see what was going on. I was never really like consistent with it. It'd be hit or miss. And so that was very sporadic. As far as getting into songwriting, it was when I got hurt. That was that was my escape to kind of get into that. And I never really was planning on it materializing into anything. It was kind of just a hobby and a way for me to kind of get out of where I was at. But I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the process of it, the creativity and all that stuff, and the challenge of trying something new.
That's awesome, man. So, I mean, music was your early love. And then when did you decide that you want to kind of pursue football over maybe music?
I had always loved sports as a kid. And to be honest with you, as a young kid where I was growing up, it wasn't like live bands and things like, that nature were around. It just wasn't cool to be in the band. Like it was like my band, I started playing the saxophone in 5th grade, but it was like marching band stuff. And so I played the saxophone all the way through high school till I was probably a sophomore, junior. And it was just like, I love sports and I'm not trying to be in the marching band. So,
I feel you. I did the same thing, Zach. It's okay.
Right. And, I love music.
Year, I was like, all right, I think I probably need to give up band.
Yeah. And I loved music, but I liked pop culture music. I like country music. I like classic rock music. I didn't want to go and, walk around the field and make noise with the trumpet and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you end up being, was it 2009? You got drafted in the 6th round by Jacksonville. You came to Chicago here in 2014, played with the Bears until 2017. When you come back here and play, like I know you played McHenry a couple of times, Chicago a few times, but when you play the area, does it feel like kind of playing a hometown show? Does it feel almost like a Nebraska crowd to you?
I love it. It's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite place to be. I love that city. I love the people in the city, and the Bears fan base. Like it's just been that's been a special connection, with us from the day that I got to Chicago, and then obviously we went through some things, and it just kind of grew. So anytime I'm back there, I love playing. We played. I played Joe's on Wheat Street a couple times, which was like I'd been to shows there, and just like
what was your first show that you remember going to?
That I went to? Oh man, Jimmy. We went and saw Jimmy Allen. Jimmy put on a heck of a show, so that was cool. And then we got to play with Eli Young Band and David Nail a couple times. So being able to play it was crazy to me because I never envisioned being on a stage. Like I feel like Joe's is a staple in country music. Yeah. And so it was cool to have that opportunity.
What had to be like a moment too, man. I mean, from being a fan in the crowd, watching like Jimmy Allen and those kind of shows, and going to being on stage and seeing that crowd.
And I'll tell you, going back and playing, like I had, like now I'd probably feel a lot more comfortable than I was back then. Like I was still, and I still am. I'm still cutting my teeth and figuring this thing out, but I'm 100 times more comfortable than I ever was when we got on stage with Eli and David Nail. But I love those opportunities, and those memories are incredible for like the steps that I want to take in this industry.
Well, it was cool to see a lot of your peers too came out. It was one neat thing is Jillian and I were in that little raised area next to the stage, and I was running around taking photos. I was taking photos that night, and she's like, next thing I know, there's like 6 football players just standing around me. I couldn't see nothing. She's like, I had to go around them.
You should have told them to get out of the way.
Yeah.
All right. No, she would run.
Clearly, I don't fit in right here.
It was cool to see how it was cool to see the
support.
The support that how they came out, man, and really showed. I love
that those guys showed up. It's cool when you have guys like that you really have been with on a day-to-day basis, and then you obviously transition into something else, and they still come and show love and support you. So it was cool.
Well, and I was kind of when I was researching for the show, I read it somewhere, or I heard that the first time you really play music outside of like your family or anything was for Jay Cutler. I mean, like kind of just playing for a peer for the first time, and it being Jay. I know Jay Cutler; he's a huge country music fan too.
Yeah, so Jay was passing through Nebraska, just through the off season. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come over." So ended up hanging out, staying the night, and we had a couple drinks. A couple more than we probably should have, and he's like, "So what's been going on?" I told him, "I was like, I've just been hanging out, writing music," and he was like, "What?" And after a couple too many, I finally was like, "He's like, I gotta hear it." I was like, "All right," I gave in. I'll tell you what, like the reason I love Jay's one of my best friends, and he'll just tell you how it is, right? Whether it's good, bad, ugly, like he'll just say, "Hey, if it was good," he'd be like, "Yeah, it's good," and if it's not, he'll tell you. So I was actually pretty nervous to play that for him. But he's actually probably one of the big reasons that like pushed me over the edge to pursue it.
Nice.
With him saying, "Listen, man, what are you trying to do with this?" Because honestly, it's really, really good. And hearing that from him, I was like, all right, well, if Jay's gonna back me up, it gave me that confidence to like, all right, let's just go out and see what happens and start booking some shows. So I started playing some local gigs here in Omaha, but that was a fun night for us. But I'll tell you what, I was hoping that he was not gonna hate it.
Well, it's good. Even any constructive criticism coming from him. But
for sure.
Still to this day, I read that, or he's still like on your music panel that you'll send him some stuff to listen to every now and then to check out. And it's cool, man, to get feedback like that.
I send him everything that I'm working on before we get to a certain stage of that, just to kind of feel it out, see what it's like. So he's on my listening panel that I get input from, but I love that dude. He's one of my best friends.
That's awesome, man. So you received your first guitar for a Christmas gift from a friend in college. That's a hell of a gift from a college buddy, man.
Yeah.
So did he just know your passion and just, I mean, what led him to hooking
He
that up?
did. So he had been a friend of our family's for a long time, and he loved music just like I did. He had like 13 or 14 guitars, and I was like, dang, man, like that's cool. Like I want to learn how to play the guitar, and just kind of that was something that we kind of bonded over and talked about a lot. And I was actually at Christmas with my wife's family. We were married at the time, but we were just down the road at her mom and dad's house, and I had to run home and get something. And Lance was there with my mom and dad, and he had the guitar sitting underneath the Christmas tree, just sitting on the stand. And I talked to him for like 30 minutes before I even noticed this thing. And I was getting ready to go. And they were like, hey, we got to show you something. And it was sitting there. And I was like, oh, no way. So I was super surprised and happy that he did something like that for me. And then I just hit YouTube to kind of learn how to play that thing. I had no way how to read music or chords or tabs or anything like that. So
Did you try like tablature first or tablature books and stuff? Did you look at all those stuff?
I didn't look at any of that stuff because I didn't know. So the first song I learned, I hopped on YouTube and I learned "Tears in Heaven" by Eric Clapton.
All right.
And that's not the first song you should learn as a beginner in this thing. And
Man, you
I
can
didn't
learn
know
about anything on YouTube.
Yeah. And so all I did was memorize where this guy was putting his fingers, and I'd rewind it. And it took me forever. I mean, I almost quit a million times. And then after that, I was like, all right, I need to go back and start from scratch, learn chords, learn progressions. And it started with open chords and then just kind of moseyed my way on through it. But it was a challenge.
Yeah. I remember late 90s, I took guitar lessons, and we was like tablature books, and they wanted me to play Enter Sandman by Metallica over and over again. I'm like, dude, I only could play his intro so many times. That was it.
Before you get burned out.
Yeah, it was short-lived though. But I just remember going to guitar lessons, and like every week, that's all we would play is just like intros to Metallica songs, like the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I want to learn more than this now. So you played football for what would we say up to about 2017, and then you had an accident or incident in New Orleans, man.
Yeah,
it was amazing just how you overcame that. It ended your career, which you never want. You never want to go out like that. But dude, it just the way you overcame and what you found your love for music again. So like we said, already you started writing, but you still live with some damage to that, man. Tell me a little bit about like how you've kind of overcame that since then. I
mean, it's just one of those things where you kind of get your back up against the wall, right? And what's the choice here? You either move on and move forward, or you kind of succumb to where you're at. And I wasn't going to do the latter, so it was one of those things where I went through a period of kind of like the grieving stage of like, okay, why'd this happen, and what's going to happen moving forward? Because it was scary. I mean, there was a lot of things that could have happened in those first couple of days that obviously we didn't want to happen. So that first like 72-hour period was not any fun, and I felt like that was enough. The 72 hours of me like woe is me was enough of like the negativity stage, because I don't really live in that world. Just from a personal standpoint, I like to at least find some good in things. And so it was just I had to find something in life to look forward to, and it was a day-by-day thing to get through that. And I mean, I'll have issues surviving that for the rest of my life, but it could be worse. I mean, I'm still up and kicking, and it led me to music, because I don't think without that I would really be in this situation. I probably would have never turned to music. I probably would have funneled right back into coaching or something once I got done playing. So it's funny how things work out.
And the story behind this is just remarkable. Just reading everything about how they were mandatory. You had to go to a hospital that was like 2 hours away, but was it the trainer that found like somewhere 45 minutes from the stadium?
Yeah. It's crazy. So where they're contracted to go was about an hour away.
Okay.
And our trainers ended up finding the level 1 trauma center was 5 minutes from the stadium. And if they would have not done that, by the time they had taken me to the contracted hospital and got out, they wouldn't have been equipped to handle what I needed, and they would have had to take me back. And by that time, I would have been too late, and they would have had to probably amputate my leg. So
Jillian's an oncology nurse, so she knows a little bit about some of that stuff. But
it was, I'll tell you, that was not a fun couple hours for me.
No, from what I've read, you've come through a lot. So that was pretty serious.
Well, I know you have kids and everything. I know that had to be rough, dude, at that time, because I'm a dad of two, and that's what I would think about, because you want to think about, like, because you're away from them. You're not even in Chicago, right home.
So I woke up in ICU, and my wife was there, and I was like, "What? Hey, what's up? You didn't have to come all the way down here." And she was like, "You have no idea what is going on right now."
Yeah.
But I stayed down there for 8 days. I was in ICU in New Orleans before they medevaced me back to Chicago. So it was that was a long week, but they did a great job taking care of me. Really, everybody involved, as far as like the nursing staff and doctors, were incredible, and the Saints did a good job. And Bears ownership they were flying me Lou Malnati's and coming down every 2 days.
That's awesome.
They did a good job taking care of me. So I can't thank them enough for that.
And man, you found your love of music again and started writing, and that's what's amazing about the story that came out of it, and just how you found that. And you've always been a performer. You've always been one that's been out there. So now you had to find another stage. I mean, you had the field to the stage is just amazing, dude. How have you taken it so far?
It was weird because I felt like that part was missing, and it was I never felt like it was something that I needed or that I like sought after. But when it was gone, it was just so, I felt like it was just so empty because what I was used to, and I just missed it. So I was thankful, because I know a lot of guys, I mean, that's kind of where a lot of ex-athletes and former athletes, we struggle trying to replace something that we've done our entire life. So I was thankful to actually find that and be able to transition into it.
Exactly, dude. Dude.
Which one's more nerve-wracking, to perform in a stadium playing football or on stage?
On stage had me shook from the get-go. Even like playing a little bar by myself, like I was so nervous doing that. And I would get nervous before games, but more so like just the anticipation of like wanting to get out there and do it. As soon as I crossed the lines, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. But I've been doing that my entire life, so I had full confidence in that. I was never like, okay, I'm going to suck. Like, I knew that I was going to be good at it. Playing music, oh my gosh, I got nothing to hide behind, no helmet.
The vulnerability, I'm sure. Yeah,
that had me shook for a long, long time, and it still does, but the connection that you get from it is super cool. Like, it's more of a personal thing. You play in stadiums, and you got helmets and another 10 guys out there with you, so it's definitely a different feel.
Yeah.
The best part is when he's performing on stage and sees a Packer hat in the crowd. You gotta do that stuff. That's the best.
I think I gotta be careful with that. But like the Joe's show, come on, man, you just can't walk into Joe's. And that guy probably had no idea who I was. He was like, he probably didn't even know I played for the Bears. So
that's true.
If he's singing your songs,
right?
Whatever,
right.
You can wear whatever you want, right?
Hey, that's all. It's all good, man. There's no loyalty out here in the music
world.
I don't care who you root for, as long as you're listening.
Yep.
We live in northern Illinois. Like, we live in Winthrop Harbor, so we're real close to Kenosha, Wisconsin. So we get both sides all the time, and I love it, man. I just don't understand
the enemy lines.
I don't understand. The Packer fans are also Cubs fans. I'm like, I don't know. You got to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Could be up there with the Brewers, huh?
Yeah, right. So your latest single for you released last year. The song you wrote solo. Do you prefer more solo writes, or do you prefer co-writing with people?
I love writing solo because there's like no pressure for me to be a certain way in the room. It's one of those things that I'm constantly working on. I've done a couple co-writes, and I have co-writes lined up here for the back half of the year, which I'm super excited about, just to grow and kind of learn how professional songwriters do it. Because I only know one way, and that's the way that I've been doing it. And I don't know if, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just how I operate. But I do love just sitting down and trying to make a story up out of really the path that I walked. So that's just that's my approach. I would prefer to write solo, but obviously I want to write better songs and have better music as I grow as an artist. So co-writes are something that I'm very focused on.
When you wrote this, your first song you wrote on piano too. So
yeah,
I mean, you can go that route more. Or, I mean, what led you to the piano, man?
It was just, I felt like it was something that I wanted to try, and I had all the other songs had been on the guitar, and I was like, shoot, I think I wrote it in February of last year, so almost a year ago, probably to this day. You know, so maybe it's the time of year, the love is in the air type of thing. So I wanted to hop on the piano and kind of strip it down a little bit. And that's kind of how it started. That song was, I wanted to paint this picture of kind of like this first date scenario where you're out and, you know, something, you know, in this case, the rain started to fall and basically ruin the plans. But it essentially put this young couple in a situation where everything would perceivably be wrong, but now they're in the car and it's just them, and everything is just focused on their relationship and how they can grow. And that's kind of how the song started. And it just develops from there.
Love that. That was awesome. Well, that's probably one of my favorite songs I think you put out. It's cool to see the growth that you've had just over the last couple of years. Like we said, we saw the David Nail show, and I started digging deeper into your songs. I'm like, man, this guy really has some good storytelling songs behind you too. So you can tell you had a little Springsteen and stuff in you.
Thank you.
What does the rest of your 2023 look like, man? Are you coming back to Chicago anytime soon? I know you got a big Nashville show next week with Chris Young. You got some new music you're working on. What's your year look like for you?
We got all of that, all of the above. Working on the writing thing right now. I've been to some rooms and back and forth to Nashville. Actually, have a new single coming out. We just got the rough cut back yesterday, so we got to cut vocals on that probably this week. I'm playing again this Thursday here in Omaha with David Nail. So David's in town. That we're gonna go do a full band show over there with him, and then Nashville next Wednesday, March 8th, with Chris Young and a bunch of other guys on that, Matt Ferranti and a whole crew. We're doing like half of a writer's round, and then there's like 3 or 4 that are gonna do a full band set, and then Chris is gonna headline that, so that'll be a fun one. And then I'm just focused on, I got an EP coming out later in the year, so dropping that hopefully in October.
Okay.
So that's my plans.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's a busy year.
Yeah, dude.
Get back to Chicago in there at some point.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see you at Joe's this year sometime. So that was really cool, man, to see there. Just to see the, like I said, the way the crowd reacted, and see like your support from the former teammates and everybody else in the crowd just coming out and just giving you the love back.
Yeah.
Because you honestly, being a Bear here, you like I said, you stole a piece of our hearts here in Chicago. So you always have a home in Chicago to us.
I love that, man. It's a special place for me.
And now they might be moving to Arlington Heights. Look at that. No.
We don't have to discuss that, do we?
No, we're not talking about that. I don't want to talk about that either.
We're not gonna go there.
So we're gonna move on to our Powered by Poddex section. Is our sponsored part of the night. Our first card we pulled earlier was in music, football, or life. What is the biggest high pressure situation you found yourself in, and how did you overcome it?
High pressure. I mean, I think the biggest pressure for me is being a father. You know, I think I look at music and sports, and we get to play a game, and it's just a game, and it's just music. So if things go wrong there, like I try not to make it more than what it is, right? Like I love playing music, but at the end of the day, if I go play a bad show, like I'm still gonna go home with my wife and kids, and everything's gonna be great. So like I feel like that's where pressure lies at. You know, I think Damian Lillard had a quote that talked about, you know, pressure ain't playing a game. It's about the single mom that's trying to put food on the table for her kids, or working 2 jobs trying to make ends meet. Like that's real pressure when it comes to real life. So I don't feel that as far as the music and sports thing. Maybe when I bent my leg in half, I had pressure there to how I was going to bounce back. You know, that was a scenario where I think that goes 2 ways. And it was one of those things where you really got to buckle up and be prepared to fight through some things. So that could probably be the biggest pressure situation for me.
All right. When you find yourself in doubt, what are a few steps you can take in the right direction?
I never stop. Like if I ever doubt something, like I just keep going through it. Like it's I don't care about failure. I have no fear of failure. So when doubt creeps in, like it comes, and if it goes away, I just keep on going. But what's it gonna do? It's not like you just can't let it stop you. And I feel like I've failed so many times, and I've been through things where you know it just hasn't worked out the way you want, and it doesn't matter in the end. Like I just keep moving forward.
Man, and look at all you've overcome too, man. Like you said, at the end of the day, you're still a dad, dude. So
Right.
I love that.
The important thing.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
How old are your kids?
12, 11. Oh shoot, no! Just had a 13-year-old. Just had a teenager.
Wow.
Not
So
ready for that.
13, 11, and 5.
Okay, we got 6 and 8 right now, so
Yeah.
we're like, all right.
Buckle up.
Yeah,
And that's even going too fast for me.
It goes way too fast. I'll tell you, it does.
yeah. We've been talking. I just turned 40 last year, so once I hit 40, I'm like, man, I gotta slow down. I'm like, this is going quick. See how fast the kids are growing. So
I know.
all right, man. All right, this next part's fun. I picked 4 songs, kind of first memory you have with each of these songs. We're just gonna talk about it for a quick second. Let me pull this up. All right, go ahead.
I hope I know them all.
Oh yeah,
You will.
I'm sure you. Sure. Yeah.
You'll know. Yeah.
See, you covered this song, "Strawberry Wine," man. When you hear that song, where's it taking you?
That is one of my favorite songs ever. Holy smokes! So this will take me back to like the most specific moment of my life. I was 16 years old, and I loved my wife. I had been chasing her for a long, long time, and we used to have the county fair back home. And she was a farm girl, and she would go to 4-H and show her cows and do all this stuff. And she would take their camper down there, and they'd camp out for a week. And I was not a farm boy back then. I still ain't now, but I would take my Chevy Suburban from my mom and dad, and I would park it next to their little empty spot that they had next to the camper, and I'd like sleep in that and hang out. My best friend was her cousin, and so that takes me back to that spot like immediately. As soon as I heard that, I'm leaning up against a car, trying to get her to convince her to date me.
Yeah, I heard your cover of it, so I was like, dude, he has to have a story with this song. He's gonna be out there covering it like that. So that's why I love it, man. All right, this next one, this will be a good one. Hit green. So Eminem, man, Lose Yourself. You were talking about Tupac earlier, so all the rap, man, Eminem's one. Him and Tupac are 2 of the best.
I got so many memories around that song.
Where's that take you?
I mean, 8 Mile came out when I was a sophomore in high school, so like I went and saw that movie 3 times in the theater. I mean, I can't even pick a specific one. Like that's probably old young Zach walking around with the headband on, shooting hoops out in the driveway, thinking I could be that. You know,
Yep.
I had the bleach blonde hair for a little bit. Don't worry.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Slim Shady look.
Yeah.
I tried to bleach my hair one summer, and I sat down at the dinner table with the hat on, and the sun was probably just shining through the window just right. And my dad saw it, and he knocked my hat off my head, and he was like, "Go outside," and he shaved my head within like the first 5 minutes of him seeing it. So I knew the deal. He told me I couldn't.
My parents knew I wanted to really bad, and they wouldn't let me. And they said, once you graduate, I don't care what the hell you do. So then they actually, after my graduation, we were supposed to meet some people for dinner for whatever. I ran home and bleached my head. Nope. They said, wait till graduation. I did the day of.
That's awesome.
Straight blonde. So I went, whatever. All right, let's move on to the other one. Kenny Chesney, Boys of Fall, man. Where does that song take you when you hear that?
That takes me from going from a football field to a gravel road and just like watching the sunset out in rural Nebraska, man. Like just got done with practice and you're going out and just blowing some steam off.
All right. Now next one I had to throw in there. This was a must. So hit the green one. So, dude, what memory comes up when you hear that? Where does it go? Where do you go with that?
That takes me to the south end zone. Just a whole 65,000 people screaming, man. I love that Bears family.
Yeah.
Really from the top down. There's nothing that can ever replace my time there. Sorry, the puppies.
I don't know if that was yours or ours.
Yeah.
We have a puppy too, and our kids are upstairs.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, so that song is just forever ingrained in my mind. I love it. It's such a beautiful memory for me and my family.
Yeah, it's amazing. And honestly, yeah, like I said, it was awesome watching you play for the Bears. It was really cool just being able to root you on every week. I got a little corner of my basement. I got all music on this side, but I have my Bears corner, my Cubs corner over here. So
Love it.
got my Gale Sayers autograph ball and some Marcellus Bennis cleats, I think. Just some little memorabilia items I've collected over the years, but
for sure.
Definitely being from Chicago, dude. You gotta love the Cubs and the Bears, I feel. She was a Sox fan for a while, so I had
converted her.
I had to. Well, Chris Bryant did.
Yeah, KB did. I had the
Not
privilege
even
to
true.
throw out. I threw out the first pitch a couple times.
Yeah, dude.
Nice. That's cool.
Did you get to sing the seventh inning stretch too, or no?
Sang the seventh inning stretch, a couple times. So that was fun.
Yeah,
that was one of those things where I really wasn't planning on singing yet, and I was like, well, what if this sucks? I'm like, it's a seventh inning stretch, man. Who cares?
Hey, nobody could be worse than Ditka, so.
Oh, Jews.
Yeah, there's been some pretty bad ones. So.
Ditka was a good one. Him and Ozzy are probably the two best.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, before we let you go, we have a little game we play called the hot seat. It's kind of like what we just did. First thing that comes to mind when I ask this question, just spit it out. The first CD or vinyl you ever purchased?
First vinyl. What's that?
What?
First CD?
Yeah, first CD or vinyl.
First vinyl I ever got was Dermot Kennedy.
Okay.
2018, we're in London, and the Bears are playing the Raiders. And Dermot and I became friends years before that, and he just so happened to be releasing his debut album, and is literally one of my favorite albums on the planet. But he happened to be in London the same time we were there, and it released on my birthday. And so we got to go to this super intimate, back record store show with him, and sat there and watched him do his thing. And that was when I bought my first vinyl.
Hell yeah, dude, that's awesome. Your best vacation location, man. If you're going somewhere, where are you going? Just kind of kick back and relax.
That I've been, or that I want to go to.
Either or. Yeah, where you want to go to? Let's see where you want.
The Maldives.
All right.
I got to get a trip to the Maldives sometime.
I always tell her that's my
his list.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta go out there. I see the pictures, dude. Those things look badass.
It looks so crazy, but it takes like 3 days to get there.
Yeah.
So who has the best pizza?
Ooh, I'm a Lou Malnati's guy.
Same, dude. I have to go with my Lou's. What kind of contest would it be fun to judge?
Ooh, dance contest.
All right.
For sure.
If you could live in any time period, when would it be?
Oh man. If I could go back to the 90s, I'd go straight back there. 90s diva country music. I could listen to that all day.
There wasn't a bad genre on the radio, dude.
Never,
every time you flip that radio station, it was just another hit after hit after hit.
Take me back. I don't want to be a back in the day guy, but
I graduated high school in 2000, so I know all that, dude.
Yeah.
So, what's the best Wi-Fi name you've ever seen?
Say that again.
What's the best Wi-Fi name you've ever seen? So everybody always names their Wi-Fi something goofy.
You want to know my Wi-Fi name? FBI surveillance van number 7.
Yes.
So my dad, I gotta tell you guys this. My dad, we just moved recently, and our old house had this FBI surveillance van. And every time he would come over to get on the Wi-Fi, he's like, what is going on here? Every time this FBI van is around my phone. And I'm like, they must be following you, man. What have you been doing? And this was a running thing for, I don't know how long. And I don't even know if he still knows that that's our Wi-Fi. But that's been a running joke. So I don't know. I think mine's kind of good.
I love that. I love that. What's the oldest thing you own? The oldest thing in your house that you have?
Ooh, probably like high school memorabilia or something.
Okay.
Got to be like an old football helmet or something like that.
What
Actually, I I got Ecto 1 from my childhood, Ghostbusters.
The little white one there.
With the retractable string and you crank it. Yep.
Yep.
I got part of the firehouse still.
Yep.
We were
Love
looking
it.
on eBay a couple years ago. Just one door was like $400. I was like, "Are
Oh,
you
geez.
kidding me? That's insane."
We were buying pieces. Remember when Jackson was really into it? We were
Yeah.
trying to like piece a whole
My
one
old
together
That's awesome.
because they were all like in, missing a piece or something.
What chore do you not like doing?
What chore do I not like doing?
Yeah, if there's a chore. Which one do you not like?
Probably laundry. And I don't really do laundry. My wife handles all the laundry. I just help her fold stuff. And I think she gets more irritated when I do that because I probably fold things wrong. But that's probably the worst one. Like I'm in charge of the trash and the things like that. But as far as laundry, I'm not that good at it. I'm liable to mess some stuff up, shrink it, dye different colors. That's him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
think
like,
it's
I'll
just-
do the laundry. I come home and it's either shrunk or it's in a big pile in the middle of the kitchen table,
Yeah.
ready for me to fold, but it's
I
all
don't-
wrinkled and
I don't
everything.
fold.
It must
He'll
just
wash
be a
it.
guy
But
thing.
that's it.
I think it's a guy thing. We're liable to mess some things up like that.
I'll take care of the snow, whatever else you need me to do. But I don't know about laundry.
I'm with you.
If you could relive any day in your life, what day would it be?
Ooh-wee. I'd say it's probably got to be like your wedding day or like when one of your kids are born. I can't pick between the three of them.
Yeah, don't do that. Pick
I'd
your
say
wedding day.
Got to be one of those.
Yeah.
Dude. Those are always good days for sure. And what's something that's still on your bucket list? Maybe in music or something that you still want to accomplish in your career?
Obviously, there's a lot that I want to accomplish with music, whether it's playing a certain venue or having a certain goals or selling all those things. Like I don't ever want to be a numbers guy. Like I want to have a live show that people love, and like you go and connect. But at the same time, like to be successful, you want you want the numbers and everything that goes with it along the way. So I don't know, man. Like play Red Rocks. Something crazy like that. Like that would just be insane, I think.
Dude, that'd be badass.
Yeah.
I haven't got out there yet, but I'm waiting for the right show to go out there. We're big Eric Church guys, so if Eric plays out there again, we might have to go out the Red Rocks and catch a show.
It's so cool.
I'd love to get out there soon. So, well, man, we really appreciate this tonight. Just sitting down and spending some time with us. It's been an amazing show, dude. So
thank you guys so much.
Dude, thank you. We want to wish you nothing but the best, dude. We'll definitely be in your corner. Anytime you release a song, we'll help push it out, do whatever we can, man.
Awesome.
So we appreciate everything you're doing for the genre and just for singer-songwriters everywhere, man. Just keep grinding, though, dude, because you got it. You
definitely. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
So,
absolutely.
All right, buddy. You have a great night, and we'll keep in touch.
All right. Y'all too.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, that was fun.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
So great talking to him.
I gotta tell you, I was a little nervous at first. I was like, all right, I was a little nervous at first talking to him just because
you were nervous.
I don't know. I'm a football guy, I was a sports guy for a while. But then after a while, I was like, you know what?
He was so nice.
Then he started talking about Tupac. I was like, oh, I'm good. I was like, I got this. So I was good after that. But no, that was an awesome show with Zach. Check them out, guys. Anywhere you guys can, anywhere you get your music, you can find them out. Zach Miller's, I think .site or something or .com, his website. We'll have it all in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll have it all in the show notes and up on our website as well.
But if you're out in like the Omaha area, I know he plays out in Nebraska a lot. Or not out there. He plays in Chicago a couple times. He's gonna be in Nashville next week. Like he said, he's gonna be all over. So he's a guy
to come for him.
Want to watch out for. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be kicking yourself if you don't listen to this guy. So we did this last week. We're gonna do it again this week before we leave. We're gonna ask each other the pod deck questions that we choose earlier. So in life, what is the biggest high pressure situation you've been in or ever found yourself in?
Well, I feel like it's a little trivial now compared to what his answer was. I mean, being a mom is hard. That is the hardest job I've ever done. But going for my NCLEX and sitting for my boards, by far the most stressful thing I've ever been through. Having my children and not knowing what to expect, that was stressful, but sitting for my boards,
I think mine was moving to Mississippi.
I'll never forget that. That was the most nerve-wracking. The minute I was done, I walked outside and just sobbed. Remember, I couldn't even drive home.
Yeah.
I sat in the parking lot for hours crying. It was a mess.
I think mine was when we moved to Mississippi.
Yeah.
I think that was really
It's
high pressure
stressful.
just leaving.
Yeah.
Because I left my job, I left my friends, I left everything, you know?
Yeah, lay it on thick there, buddy. Just
So,
lay it on. Just
it was
lay it on.
It was high pressure. It was a lot of pressure.
Well, it's a lot of pressure.
So
But you were in love.
It was the first time I was out on my own. So I think that was probably it. So, all right, when you find yourself in doubt, where are a few steps you could take in the right direction?
You go first.
Man, that's a good one. Because I was thinking, honestly, if I'm ever in doubt anything, I just really just let it be and just go hang out with the kids, hang out with the family, and just kind of overcome it that way, in a way, you know, just kind of get my mind off of things if I'm in doubt about it.
Yeah.
That's how I just kind of bury it, I guess. But I don't really get that way much. Here or there. What do you look like that?
You don't get in doubt ever?
Oh.
Yes, you do all the time. You always doubt things. But I think you're right. I think you sit on it and think and
take it
calculate your next move.
So what's yours?
I am a talker. I have to ask everybody about anything and everything.
You're a talker on the show. You're quiet half the
I
time.
am super quiet. That's a really good point. I don't talk very much on the show. No, I'm unfortunately one of those people that need someone to just reaffirm what I'm doing. I need validation. So I think I just look for that in my family and my friends.
Okay.
I don't know. And my kids. My kids who point out my bald spot, by the way.
That was kind of funny. I'm sad I was at work and missed that.
I don't know why I just said that on here. Strike that. You guys didn't hear that. I don't have a bald spot.
Oh, it's definitely going to go on. It's going to go on the recording for sure. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. It was honestly it's been one of my favorite shows tonight. We've done sure. Just having Zach on and be able to talk a little bit about football, but mainly about music and where he's at today in his career. And honestly, I think the path that he's led is just what he's meant to do, and he's doing exactly that. So just amazing guy.
Yep.
So all
Great
around
show. Yeah,
overcame a lot to be where he's at today. And
not many people get to live out their passion in two different ways throughout their lifetime. You know,
that's true.
So he's very lucky as well.
It is. I mean, he's in defining another thing that kind of brings you that energy, you know, like that you got from playing football, now being on the stage and having that same type of feeling in a way.
Motivation and passion and
So I love that.
All
right, y'all. But thank you for joining us tonight on episode 156 with Zach Miller. The passion drive he has for music is unlike anything we've seen. We want to wish him nothing but the best and can't wait to see what he accomplishes in 2023 and beyond. Don't forget to catch up on everything you missed from tonight and past episodes over at melodiesandmemories.com. And we'll see you guys actually this Wednesday night for a special show. So we got another one coming. It's supposed to be on a few weeks ago, so we had to reschedule, but we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Can't wait.
The Melodies and Memories podcast with Jillian and Aaron Schreiber, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. As we close the book on another chapter, remember, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Next week, Jillian and Aaron connect more melodies and memories with the fans and artists they love. Thank you for being a part of this musical journey, and we will see you next time on the Melodies and Memories podcast with Jillian and Aaron Schreiber.